Time for Sporting History. We do it each Thursday, and we've got such a depth of sporting overachievers in our country. We're in no danger of running out anytime soon. Today, I'm joined by Sir Wayne Buck Shelford. His career includes winning the inaugural 1987 Rugby World Cup. On becoming captain of the team, we went through a 3-year unbeaten streak. He also played a pretty important role in popularising the pre-game haka and taking it back to its Māori roots. He joins me now. Tēnā koe, Sir Wayne.
Tēnā koe, pēhea.
Oh,
You all good?
yeah, kei te pai. Lovely to chat to you today.
It's good to be on with you.
What do you prefer, Sir Wayne or Buck?
Oh, it doesn't matter. Just call me Wayne, Buck, whatever.
Yeah, where did Buck come from?
Oh, it's a name I've had since I was at primary school, really.
You don't know. You don't know why you got it.
Oh,
the first
yeah,
one?
back in those days, I was quite skinny back in the day. Was lean and skinny most of my formative years. It wasn't until I went to high school. That's when I started growing, actually. But I was not short, tall and lanky and lean, and basically my teeth came first and the head came later.
Wow! And so when you bulked out, you really bulked out, eh?
I started putting on the weight when I was 100 kilo at 17.
Gosh.
90 kilos at 17.
Yeah.
After 3 months in the military, I got up to 105. You know?
Wow.
Just by eating three meals a day.
Really?
Yeah.
And your family had a history of sporting success. Your uncle was an All Black. Was being a national representative in rugby, was that on your radar coming through high school?
Not really. It was for when your high school years, probably 13 to 17. It's about enjoying life really, and having a good time with your mates. And we used to be over at our local park every day, playing some sort of sport or a game, and there was always tears and there was laughter all the time, but we were all good mates, and rugby was a big part of it. We always used to go around here. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 families in the area. We're predominantly Māori, and basically we'd all do things together, play rugby together, play soccer, whatever was going.
Awesome.
Just to get out. Yeah.
Where was that?
Down in Rotorua, on the side of Mount Nongataha.
Yeah.
On the south side of Nongataha, yeah.
Yeah.
And we lived in a pretty nice area for those days, that's for sure. But now it's not a great area. It's a little bit down the bottom at the moment, and it's not a nice place to live, apparently. Yeah.
And given what you got out of tossing the ball around with your mates and your family, do you lament at all the way childhood has changed in New Zealand and around the Western world?
Oh, yeah, I think it has. I've seen my own kids grow up, but mind you, they grew up here, in Auckland. We had them over in Europe for a good 8 to 10 years as well, and they learned a lot of stuff over there. They saw a lot of the world, so they were well travelled. But now they've all grown up. My oldest is in her 40s, and my son's 39, going into his 40s. So, and we've got 5 grandkids, yeah.
Oh, great.
We did whāngai a young boy as well.
Yeah.
Māori adoption, and he's got 7 kids.
Oh, gosh.
So, we love the grandparent role.
Yeah.
We love having the grandkids and doing stuff with them, And now we're my wife and I both actually, basically getting paid a bit of a stipend from the government. So we take the kids on the buses into Auckland, catch the trains, catch the ferry to the Waiheke, all those sort of things. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, that's pretty new for you. Was that like December last year you started getting the pension?
The year before. I'm coming up 67.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah.
It's not that you're not busy, though. I mean, up until a few years ago, you were still on TV regularly. You were in Celebrity Treasure Island. Did you enjoy that experience?
Oh yeah, I did actually. I was a bit hesitant of doing it because my knees have been playing up the last few years. I've just had one done, and I had one done just before I went on to it actually, and so I didn't have a lot of movement in my knee, and the other one's playing up now, so I'm going to have to go in and get that one done. Yeah, but notwithstanding that, it was a great little trip to Treasure Island, I tell you. Yeah.
Came fourth. That's not bad.
Yeah, well, I just watched what these young people do, and made me laugh. Some of them made me laugh, I tell you. And but they're impatient. They're impatient, these young ones, and they want everything straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I used to watch them, and the things they used to get up to, and they sneak around behind behind the trees and the bushes and create these little wee teams, and we're going to try and get rid of that one and that one.
Yeah.
It was just so funny. And I said, who's going to vote for me? Who's going to actually get me out? And so he goes, when are you going to put me forward? So I wanted to go and do a few things, but they didn't want to put me in, which was quite disappointing. And I just kept winning as we went through when I did get put up. Yeah.
Yeah. So back to the rugby career. It looked like you, just reading your bio, it seems like success came pretty easily to you. First 15 secondary schools teams for Bay of Plenty and Auckland age grade sides. You start playing for Auckland in '82, and then selected for the All Blacks for the first time. Well, that's sort of a complicated question given the timing. So should we say played for the national side for the first time in what, '85?
Yeah, the All Blacks, 85. I was picked for the South African tour that was supposed to go ahead in '85, June, July area.
Yeah.
And that was actually denied me, and so we didn't go. We were stopped from going through the two lawyers taking an injunction out against the All Blacks. So I ended up going in the rebel team, the Cavaliers, and tell you what, we learned a lot on that trip, a lot about how the South Africans play, how tough they are, and I think that was the guts of that tour for all the young All Blacks that had only been there. For me it was only 5 minutes, but for a lot of the other guys as well, had been there a couple of years.
Yeah.
Man, they learned a lot as well because it was tough football over there.
Yeah.
And basically we came back. We lost the test series against France. Oh, no, we drew the test series against France, 86. But come 87, we were just so sharp. We were prepared for anything. The 87, 85 tour that went ahead in 86, though, it really prepped us for the World Cup.
Yeah. I had Alan Wedden in this slot a few weeks ago, and I sort of he was a lovely guy, by the way. I really enjoyed chatting to him.
You reckon? He's a big pussy.
Hey, we're on the radio right now, don't you?
I was going to put a little bad word in there, but I better not.
Yeah. Okay. He I felt he was still a bit kind of prickly about that Cavaliers, or perhaps a little defensive about it. Do you feel like you were treated badly, or that you do you feel defensive about your decision to tour with the Cavaliers, or are you at peace with it now?
No, I was always at peace with it. My dream as a young player was to actually play against the best team in the world, and for that era, it was South Africa.
Yeah.
And basically, my dream came true. I got picked for the South Africa tour, was taken away, my rights were taken away, and basically I decided to go, and I just done it just like that.
Yeah.
Walked away from my job, and basically went and I really enjoyed it. It was tough rugby. I learned a lot, and the others could probably say the same. But I learned an awful lot over there, and then come 1987, we were a pretty hard team to beat that year.
Yeah.
And then that just went over into 88, 89, and then 90, and then I got dropped.
Yeah.
So that's life.
So no regrets about 85, eh?
No regrets. Yeah, and I went there for one reason, that was to get more knowledge about myself and how good I could be. I made it into the All Blacks probably later. I was 27 going on 28. And by the time I'd finished, the 5 years, 6 years, I was 34 when I finished. So, it was a great time of my life. I really enjoyed it, irrespective of getting dropped. We only lost in the years that I played. So I played 47, 48 games and lost one game.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Mm.
Can you tell me about the Battle of Nantes?
Yeah, well, the Battle of Nantes was one of the toughest games in my career. And I'd have to say, and I've had it proven right to me, even in France. That and I believe when they came out of that shed on that Saturday afternoon, we stood in front of each other, and we went out first into the entranceway. We faced off against each other, and we were faced off against the forward pack. They usually tend to go out first because the little dinkies will like to run out the back, and sprint out.
Yeah.
Whereas we just wander out. The big fellas just wander out.
Yeah.
But I actually looked at them, and all of their eyes were red. The whites of their eyes were red, so they must have been on some sort of upper. And they just ripped us apart that day. It was amazing how the transformation between 2 weeks, 2 Saturdays. One Saturday we were all over them. Next Saturday we couldn't even get on top of them. We couldn't even get parity with them that day. And that's how tough the game was. And there was a lot of blood spilled, I tell you. A lot of blood. So in that particular game, I actually lost a few teeth, got kicked out of my face on the ground. And then Jean-Pierre Garouet, I was coming up off the ground with a ball. I looked up, and he was actually lying parallel to the ground, and he hit me right in the forehead, knocked me out cold. So I was out for a little while, and I come back round, and I carried on. Jock Hobbs wouldn't let me go off. The rules in those days. No, you can't go off, Buck. You can't go off.
Oh, gosh.
And so I carried on for another 40 minutes, got through half time, got through about 10, 15 minutes of the second half, and then Jock relented. I had to go off because I was so far behind the play. It was not funny. And, I'd turn go left, and they were already there, and they turned around and come back, go the other way. So it was one of those things that I couldn't keep up with the play because my brain couldn't register as quickly as it was. But now it's registering like that all the time.
So a very, very tough game. And
it was.
I'm sorry to press you on this, but there was another injury that happened to you in that game that you later became famous for.
Oh, yeah. Well, I got kicked in the testicles down that region, and that one kick actually ripped open my scrotum and the testicle came out. Yeah, but they patched me up once I got off the field and we went into the changing sheds. I had who was in front of me? It was John Gallagher. I think it was right in front of me, and I stood up and whipped my trousers down because we used to wear Speedos all the time, and because we didn't have those legging things that they wear today, so I wore Speedos and to keep everything nice and tight down there, and basically he ripped right through the Speedos as well. And his sprig must have just caught the edge of the testicle and just ripped it apart. 16 stitches to put it back together.
Do you have a high? Do you have a high pain threshold, Buck, or do you just put up with it?
No, you actually don't actually feel a lot when you're actually playing a test match at that level and at that intensity. Your adrenaline's pumping anyway, and you don't really feel the hits. You feel them, and you do feel them. It knocks you around, but then you wake up if you get knocked out, and you say, "Wonder what's going on? What's going on?"
Yeah.
And then you just get back onto the game. So you don't really feel those sort of things unless you break your arm or something like that. But Colin Beats carried on with a broken arm. Richie McCaw had a broken foot. Man, it's only a little bit of pain. Let's get through it.
I mean, there are many ways in which you probably feel like the current generation could harden up a bit or be a bit tougher, but actually I'm sure you're pretty pleased that doesn't happen anymore, that someone gets a big smash in the head and gets knocked out and then tries to come off and gets told to stay on the field. I mean, that would never happen anymore, and that's surely a good thing. Yeah,
it is. I totally agree with you. And when I was coaching down our club, I coached down our club from 2008 right up till last year. And basically, so that was another 15, 16 years. And when I come back to coach in New Zealand with my club, I automatically, if I saw a player with a head knock, even if he didn't go off, when I started coaching, no one actually stayed on the field. I got rid of them straight away, took them off myself. I didn't wait for the referee to do it. I took them off because I believe that I didn't want people to have what I've got, like the head injuries that I had as well. Concussions, and I'm still starting. I can still remember a lot of stuff, but sometimes the names of people I just don't remember anymore. And even some of my own family, I call them the wrong name sometimes. So I just got behind that ruling, and I stood them down for an automatic 3 weeks myself, and they needed a doctor's prescription to come back onto the football field.
Yeah, good for you.
So those are sort of things when you start getting a little bit older, you don't want the people to go through the same things you went through. And, back in the day, even in New Zealand, but being over in France and watching what went on over there back in those days, mate, it was terrible. I saw guys getting kicked in the kidneys, kicked in the back from behind, king hit from behind, all those sorts of things.
Yeah.
And it's not nice to see people go down, in a big boom, they hit the ground, don't move.
Yeah,
it's really sad. But I think it's the best thing that's ever happened in rugby, actually. And it's protecting the players, big time. Yeah.
I'm talking to Sir Wayne
But
Shelford.
I just don't like it.
Sorry, just for people who've just tuned in, I'm talking to Sir Wayne Shelford, Buck Shelford.
Oh, okay.
So you can finish that thought, Buck.
Yeah, but now one of the things about the rugby I don't like is when they sub a player off in the last 5 minutes and he's not even hurt.
Right.
Just to give a player a game.
Yeah.
It just annoys the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Whereas I actually think that we carry too many reserves now, and 8 reserves, and basically in our touring days we only took 26 players overseas, and we only had 4 reserves. So it's quite different. That's why we had to stay on a lot longer and play full games. All of us did.
Yeah.
And I think that you're just taking the mickey really sometimes when you sub a person with 1 minute to go. I just don't think it's worth it. It's a little bit.
Yeah, go on.
A little bit like giving away test matches.
Yeah, I can understand that, particularly from someone who earned every single one of those caps. We went sort of through the Rugby World Cup, the '87 Rugby World Cup, blow by blow with AJ. So we won't do it game by game. But is there a particular moment that stood out in that tournament to you, or a particular game that you remember fondly?
Yeah, well, the first game was outstanding. Was against Italy, and JK's try that he ran almost 100 metres was outstanding. And it set the crowd alight that day. Yep. And basically, I thought it was brilliant. Brilliant way to start the tournament.
Yeah.
We played Italy, put a big score against them, but the try stood out big time. And I remember talking to, I think it was Nisbet. I think it was, I think it was him. I think he was doing one of the games, or was it? Who's the other one? The older one? Keith Quinn.
Right. Yeah.
Keith Quinn. I went to a function with Keith Quinn. And he basically had when you go to rugby games and you wear the things around your neck with who you are and media and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
He brought every one of those to a function one day.
Yeah, the
and
lanyards.
He went through a whole lot of them.
Yeah.
And there was hundreds of them.
Yeah.
Hundreds of them. And he basically can remember nearly everything from every one of those games.
That's amazing.
It was amazing. And he could, you could even pronounce the actual Fijian words right.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
He's a great broadcaster.
Very, very good.
What do you make? There was an incident in the semi-final against Wales. Can you talk us through that from your point of view?
Oh, the way AJ would say it was that his big brother, was getting his nuts pulled off, and I interceded and took the other guy out. That's all it was, really.
Okay.
And you got to look after your mates on the field. You got to look after your mates as well.
Hugh Richards punched Gary Whitten, yeah.
Yeah, Hugh actually, we got sent off, and Perry Fitzgerald was the referee that day, and he walked up to me and stood on my shoulder, because he's only a short fella, and he said to me, "You're lucky I didn't see it, I would have sent you off." Oh, thanks very much.
You said, "See what?"
So he was a great referee. I really liked him, yeah. And it was sad to hear that he had passed away as well a few years ago. Yeah, very good referee.
So we win the World Cup. Great moment for the All Blacks and for New Zealand sport. You're promoted to All Black captain and then embarked on one of our most successful eras. During your captaincy, the team didn't lose a game. You had one draw against Australia, I think. Why did you get dropped, Buck?
I think there was a lot of pressure on both coaches. So basically, the coach was actually Griswiley, but he got a co-coach given to him. you will take this man. It was John Hart. And basically, John Hart, he was a co-coach to Grizzly. And Grizz said, no, I don't want John Hart. I want this guy. And the guy he wanted was Doug Bruce from Canterbury. So Doug actually played with Grizz, played All Black rugby with Grizz, and he wanted Doug Bruce as his back coach. And the union said, no, you will take John Hart. So he's probably the only one who's ever been ordered to take a person.
Yeah.
And John Hart and Grizz did not gel at all. So come 1991 World Cup, it's the worst team I've ever seen on and off the field.
Gosh.
Because I was part of the media in that day, that time, 91. But I did give Grizz gave Grizz a call in 1990, and I said, if I come back, because our club side, I was playing for Northampton then, and we made the final of the English Championship with Northampton, and the All Blacks put the All Black trial on the same day, and I had to chuck up between going and playing in a final and winning a club championship, or going back and playing in the New Zealand trials. And Grizz said he'd give me a fair chance if you play really well. I'll have to look at it. And anyway, I went back into the trial, and I was actually pretty fit and running around, and I played that trial. My trial team, we won quite handsomely. And when they announced the team a couple of weeks later,
the All Black team,
the All Black team. It was down in Wellington, and North Harbour just played against Wellington. So we were in the aftermatch function, and they announced the All Black team there at the function. And my name was not called out. And so, I was thinking that's the way it is. But I felt very sorry for a lot of the players that I knew that missed out. And they could have been in that tour as well. But I missed out, and I knew that every other number 8 in the country at that time was actually injured. So Mike Brewer was injured. Who else? Zinzan Brook was injured. So, then you start looking at the other number 8s that could play number 8. None of them were at that level at that time.
Yeah.
And some of them are just retiring, all that sort of stuff.
Which makes it even worse.
Yeah, and so really there wasn't too many number 8s to pick from, because there's 3 of us, and we were all captains of our own provinces, and that sort of thing. And it was quite disappointing that he didn't pick me. But at the end of the day, we've spoken about it, and so we've got together a couple of times and had a few beers. And he said to me personally that if I would have had my time again, I'd change my mind. I would have taken you.
Gosh.
You would have still been my captain. And I said, well, that's on you, Grizz. That's not on me. But have a good life anyway,
Yeah. Did you ask, or did he offer that?
I asked him.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people are scared of Grizz, and so I liked him. I talked with him a lot, and we talked about a lot of stupid things too, But rugby was the main thing. But I liked him because I met him, and I spent a little bit. Not a lot of time, but I spent a few times. I was living down in Christchurch during the early 80s, and he asked me to come down and play for Canterbury. He said, leave that Auckland mob and come down and be my number 8. But they had Dale Atkins there. So Dale was a very, very good footballer himself. And Grizz Wiley used him as a human battering ram. And he'd broken nearly every bone in his bloody body by the time they finished that 4 seasons that they had. Great seasons,
Yeah.
So basically I said, no, I'll stick with Auckland. And so that was in 82, down there, playing 81, 82, and club rugby. And I actually played for, I can't even think of their name at the moment, but our coach was Fergie McCormick. So another great All Black himself.
Got a couple, I've got a couple of things I want to get to, Buck, while we've got time.
Okay.
And one is the haka, which we all know now. I think most New Zealanders are extremely proud of the All Black haka, but it wasn't always the way that it is. And was there a point when you were captaining the team where you thought, hey, we're going to take this seriously?
Yeah, you're right. And saying is when Haka come to me, he says, Buck, should we do the haka? but there were some of the younger ones went to haka, and I think they're a little bit scared of coming up to me. But haka's more scary than me. Geez, he's ugly, But notwithstanding that, that's haka. And so Hika and I talked about it, and he said, "Yeah, we can do this, this, and this." I said, "Hika, slow down, boy," and because Hika grew up in kapa haka, I didn't. I didn't get into kapa haka until I went into the military, and in my 11 years in the military, I done kapa haka all the time with my family, my kids, my wife. Yeah, so we really enjoyed it because it's just another outlet to actually, park rugby over there.
Yeah.
Let's do kapa haka for a couple of hours, all that sort of stuff. So basically, Hika and I said to Hika, let's go and get permission. So we went and got permission from the whole of the team at team meeting and the management. They had to tick it off. Okay, right? Because we've said, yes, we're going to do it, well, we're all going to be training to do it. And all those old fellas, you're going to be training as well. So get your bloody back ass, big fat asses off the ground, off the seats, and we're standing up for the next hour, learning the words, learning the actions, all that sort of stuff. And they bought into it. And some of them got a bit grumpy about it, though, bloody John Ashworth and things like that. These old guys.
Yeah.
And Hayden not so much, but the few there, Canterbury, one from Manawa too, Gary Knight, he moaned about it. But anyway, we got them doing it fairly well in that 85 year. And then come 1987, they got it really, the old guys had gone at this stage, 75, because they all left in 76. And then we had a new breed of locks in there and all that sort of stuff and props. And they just bought into it straight away. And man, we got it by 87. We were practicing hard to get it right for the World Cup because we're having the World Cup in New Zealand in 87. So let's bring the haka back.
Love it. We've got a couple of minutes left, and I want to make sure we mention the Returned Services Association. You were elected president. Could you tell us what you love about that association and how New Zealanders should feel about it? We've got about a minute or so left. Yeah,
well, being part of the RSA, I'm actually an ex-vet as well. And so I've done 11 and a half years as a serviceman. And, we've got this special bond in the services. And some of my closest friends are all ex-servicemen. And, rugby is another type. You get your bond with certain players, but not everybody. And those are the two areas that I dabble in. And being in the service, the RSA, it's fantastic. And, it's all about really looking after the vets, raising money for the vets when we have Poppy Day and things like that. We are slowly but surely, some of our facilities are closing and have been closed for a while, some of them. And that's solely because many of the vets have gone now. And so we still have a few. As you know, we lost Bomb Gillies last week. He was buried on Tuesday, and he actually was the last remaining 28th Māori Battalion member. And so we've got that whole era of 28th Māori Battalion. That's all gone. Nearly Second World War, nearly all of them are gone as well. Still got some left. There's a few left there, but then you got the Vietnam vets, and you got Korea, Malaya, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, sorry to wrap your buck. We're almost there.
But it's all about looking after the wars that are coming now. Have been just Afghanistan, Iraq, and Bosnia, all those ones now.
Good stuff.
Because we haven't mentioned them at all.